What is up, guys, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today I'm gonna be looting this bastion. Oh, why is there a gas though? Yeah, I'm gonna be looting this bastion. So let's see what I get. But wait, let's go back. Look at this place. The walls are crumbling, there's lava on the floor, and I'm just taking all of the piglins' gold. The gold that they're so desperate for. Also, these piglins don't even attack you if you're wearing gold. If I show off enough wealth, these guys don't even attack me anymore. And that's just how the game works, right? The bastion must be in shambles for us to be able to raid it. In other words, piglins must suffer for the player to have loot. Well, that's ideological conditioning. The entertainment of the game distracts the player while shaping their mindset to see this exploitation as normal. As Tyson states, when we are being entertained, our guard is down, so to speak, and we are especially vulnerable to ideological programming. And through a Marxist critical lens, in Pride and Prejudice, Fiddler on the Roof, and The Great Gatsby, entertainment is deliberately used to normalize class inequality, conditioning the audience to view inequality as natural or even desirable, rather than constructed. Now it's time for dinner. Man, I'm so hungry. You know, I wonder what's for dinner. But what is that? Is that Pride and Prejudice? I mean, like, I guess so. In Pride and Prejudice, entertainment is found in balls, and the socio-economic classes here are prominent. Let's start by looking at the Meryton Assembly. On the way to the assembly in chapter 3, Austen writes, "Nothing could be more delightful. To be fond of dancing was a certain step towards falling in love, and very lively hopes of Mr. Bingley's heart were entertained." From the start, we know that this ball is supposed to be pure enjoyment, but this enjoyment is derived from the fact that Mr. Bingley is supposed to be there. The fun of the ball is inseparable from the social hierarchy. Thus, the ball allows the upper class to reinforce the class hierarchy. This can also be seen when Mr. Darcy refuses to dance, saying, "I certainly shall not. You know how I detest it unless I am particularly acquainted with my partner." At such an assembly as this, it would be insupportable. Your sisters are engaged and there is not another woman in the room whom it would not be a punishment to me to stand up with. This ball is meant to be a place of fun and whimsy, and yet Darcy's position in the bourgeoisie allows him to control the scene. This ideological programming makes it normal for people to be evaluated for their social worth and marriage potential. Because the event is fun, this system feels natural. This is also seen at the Netherfield ball. When Mrs. Bennet is embarrassing the family, it's stated that Elizabeth blushed and blushed again with shame and vexation. She could not help frequently glancing her eye at Mr. Darcy, though every glance convinced her of what she dreaded. For though he was not always looking at her mother, she was convinced that his attention was invariably fixed by her. Despite the ball being at an event that should be fun, Elizabeth is constantly worried about the social dynamics at play. Darcy's refusal to dance and Elizabeth's anxiety of her mother's behavior shows this ideological programming. The upper class can do as they please, while the lower class must regulate themselves, all seen as normal through the guise of entertainment. Also, with the ending, the novel ultimately reinforces this idea. The fairy tale ending shows Elizabeth, who is from the lower bourgeoisie, marrying Darcy, an upper bourgeoisie, resolving the class conflict not by fighting the system, but by conforming the individual access to wealth. Since it's framed as a happily ever after, it makes it seem like this movement through socio-economic class is the ultimate goal. After all, who doesn't want their own happily ever after? This sounds kind of boring though, you know? I wish there was some, like, live entertainment. Wait, do you hear that? Wait, it sounds like there's like a fiddler, you know, and he's like on the roof, you know, because I got like the string instrument and I'm like on top of the loft bed, you know, because it's like kind of like a roof, you know. Fiddler on the Roof is fun, almost too fun. There's singing and dancing, but really the people of Anatevka are under a false consciousness which Tyson describes as when an ideal functions to mask its own failure, it is a false ideal or a false consciousness, whose real purpose is to promote the interest of those in power. Let's look at the song. Tradition! It really spoke to me when they sung the words tradition, tradition, tradition. But you know who it spoke to even more? All of the villagers. It makes the villagers accept poverty and hardship as if it's the way things are, rather than questioning the system. The bourgeoisie have colonized their consciousness, causing them to sing a song that frames socio-economic class as unchangeable because it's always been that way. This is also shown through Tevye. Look at him as he looks at God. He's always joking around and laughing, and when complaining he says, "It's enough you pick on me, bless me with 5 daughters, a life of poverty, that's alright." And he also says, "I think when things are too quiet up there, you say to yourself, let's see what kind of mischief can I play on my friend Tevye." Because his suffering is framed as humorous, it allows the blame to be shifted off of the bourgeoisie, and thus, it's not taken as something serious to be changed or fought against. Instead of blaming the elite for putting the people of Anatevka in bad situations, he wishes God had just simply made him a rich man. When Tevye sings If I Was Rich Man, the song is great and all, but if you look closer, the song is imagining wealth only as a personal fantasy. Tevye's idea of wealth is to be rich and have everyone who is poorer than him look up to him and ask him for advice. He doesn't seem to care about improving the village, or even care about putting in extra work to become richer. He only wishes that God had made him rich enough to begin with. His false consciousness makes him fantasize about being able to be better than everyone else, reinforcing the system. It's almost as if it's some kind of beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy.
After all that, I think I'm ready for dessert.
Why do I have an egg for dessert? And why is the egg on the west side of the plate? Yo, is that a West egg?
F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby is filled with parties, but all this spectacle is just a distraction from the true problems with society. The Gatsby parties are impressive, and as Nick says, people were not invited. They went there. They got into automobiles which bore them out to Long Island, and somehow they ended up at Gatsby's door. These parties may seem open at first, but despite this openness, only the upper class can go, and this plays right into Gatsby's plan. These parties are purely performative. He wants to surround himself with the upper class to climb socially, and behind this, both the partygoers and the readers forget about the poverty found in the Valley of Ashes. This valley is described as a fantastic farm where ashes grow like wheat into ridges, and hills and grotesque gardens where ashes take the forms of houses and chimneys and rising smoke, and finally with a transcending effort of men who move dimly and already crumbling through the powdery air. The entertainment of the parties has enchanted everyone, leaving the Valley of Ashes invisible. Even today when someone thinks of the Great Gatsby, they only think of the parties, never about the Valley of Ashes. And yet, Gatsby's parties wouldn't have any meaning if this valley did not exist. The entertainment of Minecraft distracts the player from fundamental systems. Let's look at Piglins again. The more gold we take, the more the Piglins suffer, but through the framing of a game, we don't feel like we're exploiting them. And in Pride and Prejudice, Fiddler on the Roof, and The Great Gatsby, the same systems are in place. Whether it's songs, balls, or parties, entertainment is used as ideological programming, causing us to accept inequality as normal. So the next time you play Minecraft, think of the Piglins. Thank you for watching.